Welcome, everybody, and welcome to Doc of Detox Show. And I'm Dr. Darrell Wolfe, and I'm here today with the esteemed Dr. Tony Jimenez from the Hope4Cancer Clinic. Okay, and today's show is called 3 Strategies to Restore Immune Health. Okay, together we are going to transform your life and expand your mind so that you can live to your fullest potential and become the light for your family. You know, I can't tell you how many people that we have even coming to our clinic. And once Dr. Tony Jimenez comes on, I'm sure he's going to be able to back me up on this. But I'm not telling you one person. I'm telling you maybe 3 to a half a dozen, without exaggeration, come here and they go, you know what? We did not take cancer seriously. We did not take disease seriously. We did not take sickness seriously until somebody in our family was actually dying from a disease, or I'll hear before someone in my family was unwell and they could no longer enjoy their life. Understand something. This is the great sucker punch. This is what happens when you get a majority of the population believing that your government is going to look after you, the medical system is going to look after you, that your doctor is going to look after you. You know, when he says, hey, we'll keep an eye on that, what is he doing? Living under your bed or behind your toilet? Let's understand something, that the only empowerment on this planet is called self-empowerment. So unless you're willing to empower yourself by teaching and training yourself and embracing those practitioners that have embraced nature, then nothing's going to be natural. Healing won't be natural for you. It will just be hell on earth. Because you have to understand something. Unless we embrace nature and unless we embrace the laws of the universe, okay, we will come up against so much pain, so much suffering, and it's not that we have to. You have no idea on how powerful you truly are. And that everything that you think, you drink, you say, you do adds up to what your day is going to be like. Okay? So remember something. What you think and the way you act is creating and shaping your life every day. And unless you're willing to change your personality, you heard what I said, you'll never change your reality. When I wake up in the morning, I say to myself, what parts of my personality need to change today that I can experience total joy, total bliss, and total health? This is why I have people like Dr. Tony Jimenez on my show, because they teach me so much. He teaches me so much. He is a man of passion, of heart. And you know what? The thing is I like about him, he travels the world looking for answers to cancer. And not just that, he looks for whole body wisdom, which he understands like no other medical doctor I've ever seen before, that where the mind goes, the body flows. So understand that I want you to just sit back and call in your questions today. All right? We're here for you. We're both here for you. Good day, Dr. Tony Jimenez. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. And as a compliment of what you just said, I like to read this quote, which is so powerful. It says, "You are the only one who could limit your greatness. Do not limit yourself." And I think that sums up what you were saying in a few words. And this topic today about the strategies to restoring immune health is so important, because on a daily basis, minute by minute, we are under constant attack. Our immune system is under constant attack by what I call disruptors. And these are, of course, Wi Fi, toxins in our environment, pollution, our air, our soil, our food, uh, all these disruptors that are constantly attacking our immune system. And with respect to cancer and everything, cancer to a cold and everything in between, the God-given natural immune system is really what keeps us healthy, what helps us recover from any disease, including cancer. So this is such a special show, and I hope all the viewers are really listening carefully, taking notes, and calling in the questions. Questions are so important because if not, you and I can just talk all day, but it's about the viewers, it's about the listeners. We want to be here for them.
Absolutely. And if I can add just a little bit on what Dr. Jimenez was saying is your immune system is your support system. Without your immune system, you have no support system. And it's like you are just opening yourself up for all these disruptors that he's talking about. Dr. Jimenez, would you like to continue?
Yes, yes. And further to that, by restoring our immune system, we do wonderful things, such as what? Cancer stem cells, for example. Cancer stem cells are the true culprits in metastasis from a breast cancer, from a colon cancer, from a prostate cancer. Please remember, the primary cancer seldom kills someone. It's the metastasis. It's when the cancer goes to the liver, to the lung, to the brain, or to the bone, what we call the vital organs. That's what kills people. So by restoring our immune system, we target those, the immune system does, it targets those tough cells called cancer stem cells. Those are the ones that lead to metastasis. Those are the ones that are resistant to chemo and radiation. So please, please, if anyone listening or viewing this has had chemo or radiation, one of the first things that they have to look is take a really careful look on their immune system and start restoring the immune system because that will significantly decrease your risk of getting a recurrence. Also, we know, Dr. Wolf, that microbes or bugs or germs like Epstein-Barr virus, cytomegalovirus, HPV, herpes, hepatitis, all these infectious agents are contributing factor to cancer, but not only to cancer, to heart disease, to arthritis, to diabetes, to all these chronic infections. So, by having an optimal immune system in its totality, because nature and God has given us an immune system that is so smart. It is one branch is called the innate, which is the quick acting immune system, and the other one is called the adaptive immune system that has memory, has retained information. So next time it sees a similar bug or a similar cancer cell, it recognizes it and it launches an immune attack. So God gave us a very potent immune system, and these bugs, these microbes, can decrease the immune capacity. So we need to constantly work on our immune system. I know that I do, and I'm sure you do, Dr. Wolf, that we're always taking nutritionals and enhancing our immune system on the day to day because no matter how healthy we eat, we're not getting all the nutrients we were 20, 30, 40 years ago because of what we just said, the soil and so forth. So this is why restoring our immune system is so important. And just to summarize, to keep a hold of those cancer stem cells, if someone has had chemo and radiation, more the reason to build the totality of our immune system, the quick acting and the long acting immune system, and to suppress these microbes that are contributing to a lot of what we see now and what we call chronic diseases.
Oh, great. I've got two questions for you.
Surely.
What does chemo and radiation do to stem cells? That's number one. And number two, how does trauma and conflict, okay, does that have any part to play when it comes to cancer mutating to different parts of the body?
Okay. Well, I'll answer the second question first because it's the one that is so often overlooked. And I just came from Asia. I visited 6 countries. We're helping a friend do a documentary series. And across the board, after interviewing 80, 90 physicians, top of the line doctors, professors at major universities throughout Asia and India, uh, 80 to 90 of these guys, I would say 90% of them, the first thing they mentioned was the emotional, mental factor and how that contributes to cancer. So, without a doubt, and I see it every day at our clinic at Hope for Cancer in Mexico, we see it every day that those patients that really work on the emotional, spiritual, mental aspect of their being fare much better. And let me put it another way, Dr. Wolf. Um, from a historical perspective, if you look at traditional Chinese medicine, if you look at Ayurvedic medicine, if you look at the old eclectic doctors like Eli Jones back in the early 1900s, uh, what they basically talked about was two areas. One is the spirit or the spiritual area, and then below that, as from above below, you've heard that before. Below that is the form. So we have the spiritual area and then we have the form. And the form basically is where the mind, the body, and the heart are. And so this is where we have to close that gap because that space in between is a space that allows for the disease process. But looking at the mind, the heart, and then the body is so, so important. So definitely the first thing, and it's included in the 7 key principles that we adhere to at Hope for Cancer, is the emotional, spiritual aspect of health and recovering from disease and including cancer.
Wouldn't you say, Dr. Jimenez, that the spirit actually creates the form, and depending on the vibration and the frequency of your emotions, and because everything in life is about frequency and emotion, that it affects the spirit? When you affect the spirit, you change the form.
That's correct. That's
Okay.
correct. And we are energetic, vibrational frequency oscillation pathways and network. Oftentimes in conventional medicine, they think that when someone talks about meridians or chakra or auras or these chi life force that they're quacks. But really, this is the center of what we call the vital force, and where what you're mentioning, the energy, the vibrations, the oscillations are working. So, in essence, to keep our health and to recover from health, we need to work at that level of that vital force or that chi or prana, as the Hindus call it. But that's really, the substance of life.
Excellent. So, everybody, we are ready if you want to start making some calls in 888-570-9445. So,
And in the meantime, I'll answer your first question,
yeah.
which was about cancer stem cells. And the thing here, Dr. Wolf, is that cancer cells are really masters at evading and disguising and cloaking and hiding themselves from the immune system. So we need, and they do this through inflammation because cancer is an inflammatory disease. Cancer is a cold disease. So this inflammation protects cancer cells from being seen by the immune system, and it is able to cloak or disguise them. There's other
I'm sorry,
mechanisms as well,
did you
but
say
that's
that
one.
inflammation cloaks them?
Inflammation protects the cancer cells from being seen by the immune system.
Oh yeah, well that's like a monkey mind, right? When you've
Yeah,
got too much going on, you
right.
can't see the forest for the trees. And I'm not going to cut you off, but okay, now we can you tell people what stem cells are? Because there's a lot of talk about them, right?
Right.
But can you tell us how they're made, what they are, what their real purpose is, and
Mhm.
why would a stem cell, when it's one of the most important cells of the human body, turn on us?
Right, right. So, when that egg meets that sperm and that fertilization happens, the moment of conception. By the way, at the moment of conception, now scientists have found out that there's a spark, there's a light that happens at that time. Quite interesting. So, at that moment, stem cells begin to form. So, stem cells are cells that give us our other tissues, they give us our organs, and ultimately the systems, the digestive system, the immune system, and so forth. So stem cells are what we call in medicine progenitor cells. Those are the most basic fundamental cells that grow into the mature cells of the heart, the skin, the eyes, the brain, so forth. So these are called stem cells, but these are normal cells that we all have. For example, our liver, and we have stem cells in all of our tissues and organs. The liver regenerates, some people say, every 6 years. The skin, every month or so. So our stem cells are there all of our life, and they're regenerating. Obviously, as we're aging, the quantity of these stem cells decreases. And this is why now in medicine, there's a lot of people that are doing stem cell therapy to kind of go against nature's aging process and bring in more stem cells. So those are the good guys. But cancer cells, they're composed of two types of cells: the non-cancer stem cells and the cancer stem cells. The cancer stem cells are formed from mutations or other processes in the body that lead to their formation. So it's not really that the stem cells are turning against us, Dr. Wolfe, is that because of mutations, because of the immune suppression, because of toxicity, because of emotional things, there is a change in these cells that lead to them being malignant or calling cancer stem cells. So those are the cells that are tough to kill. Radiation chemo doesn't get to them. So we need to look at other approaches that exist. And in conventional medicine, doctors, oncologists don't check for cancer stem cells because they don't have any tools. So they tell the patient, okay, you have this number of stem cells, and so then the patient goes, what can you do, doctor? And he says, well, chemo's not going to kill them, radiation isn't either. So they don't have tools to target cancer stem cells, and so that's why conventional medicine doesn't even check for them. And of course, we at Hope for Cancer definitely do, and we keep an eye on these cancer stem cells because as they're decreasing, obviously the patients are improving and the prognosis is better. So that's a little brief on cancer stem cells. And those are the ones that, with the three strategies that we'll talk about today and others to restore immune health or to enhance immune health, because no matter how healthy we think we are, we could always improve our immune system.
I have a question for you. Again, I have a question. So, with the stem cells, so what dictates them? And can I use the word going a little rogue?
Yeah.
Is it the environment? And are you trying to say that it's inflammation is the main thing for mutation?
Well, I'm saying that those disruptors that we talked about is what's setting the terrain. So really, it's all about the terrain. The
Okay.
terrain dictates what's going to happen to this healthy body that the Lord gave us and that was conceived in a spark of joy. And so these disruptors, the Wi Fi, the toxins in the environment, the heavy metals, the pollutants, the glyphosates that we know now, we know that verdict that just happened a few weeks ago, right? Someone was awarded a lot of money because they proved that the glyphosate was the cause of their lymphoma.
What
And
is
so,
glyphosate? Can you tell me what it
well,
is and give us a background, Tony?
yeah, I'm not an expert in this area, but glyphosate is really a toxic chemical that is used by the company Monsanto in their products like Roundup, and they use it to control weeds and all that. But they've always claimed that no, no, this doesn't cause cancer. It just kills the weeds and it doesn't it doesn't harm the human body. But now, and we've known Dr. Jeffrey Smith, one of our mutual friends and colleagues. He's written a lot about this and GMO and all this stuff. So it's really these man-made chemicals like glyphosates that's been introduced into our water through agriculture, into our air, the spray, airplane spray. This guy that just won the lawsuit against Monsanto, he was spraying this, and in a school garden, just trying to control the weeds and stuff, but very highly toxic and carcinogenic.
Yeah, and with I do know that with the glyphosate, here's one for everyone. They say that they use it because it helps to keep the all the food that you eat fresher. So you know what? If you've got to structure your food. You've got to you got to use structured water to soak your food if you're not going to get organic. And even if you do, I'd still structure your food and water. I would spray your salads if you go out with structured water. But here's the deal with glyphosate. What it does is just think about, your brain, okay? And what it has is it has a drawbridge. And the drawbridge only comes down to allow the good things. Guess what glyphosate does? It actually causes the cells in the body to bring the drawbridge down and let everything in. So glyphosate, it's so toxic that it allows all the other toxins, the heavy metals, to go right across the blood-brain barrier and into your other tissues. Now there is a deep, dark conspiracy somewhere
Right.
here.
Yeah. And what happens at that point is that these disruptors that we're calling disruptors, like glyphosate and other toxins, it's disrupting the brain neurotransmitters. It's making our hormones out of balance, and hormones are so important for everything. It's creating more of an acid alkaline environment. It's just it's causing more allergies. Allergies are a direct result of out of line, out of balance immune system, all these autoimmune diseases. So, exactly, Dr. Wolf, once these chemicals are going into the brain, they could penetrate every tissue because the brain is the part of our body that it's most precious in the sense that what goes into the brain is controlled very carefully by the blood-brain barrier. So if glyphosate can get into there, it's getting into every cell and tissue in our body.
Yeah, and they call the brain the chemist, so kill the chemist, and well, the rest of the story.
Yeah. And before, when I went to medical school, that, I must say wasn't too long ago, although I've been working in oncology for over 25 years or so. But they taught us that the brain did not have an immune system. And just recently, within the last 2 years, I believe it was at the University of Virginia in the US, they proved that indeed the brain has an immune system, it has a lymphatic network. And remember, the lymphatic system is so, so important in immune health. And this is why when we go further into these three strategies to restore immune health, we're going to talk a bit about the lymphatic system, but suffice it to say that the brain has a network of lymphatic vessels that connect to the plexus, and subsequently, when anything gets passed into the brain, and if someone has had full brain radiation, for example, or chemotherapy, we're really destroying the defense mechanism, that immune system that God enabled the brain to have in its protective cavity. So, restoring the immune health goes from the brain all the way to your toes and in between. So, so important.
Thank you. If we can, we'll take a caller and then we'll come right back to the three strategies to restore your immune health. Caller?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, great. Thank you. I have a question for each of you. I was wondering if Dr. Tony might be able to get as specific as he knows how on the emotional, how that affects and changes the stem cells for the cancers. And for you, Dr. Wolfe, can you tell us a little more about your structured water? What some details on that, please?
I'll let Dr. Jimenez go first.
Okay,
Thank you.
so,
I'll hang
it's
up and listen
well
online.
known
Thank you.
that emotional stress, mental stress, negative thoughts are going to, especially if someone has cancer or chronic disease, is going to increase the stress hormones in the body, particularly cortisol. So that's one. If you increase the stress hormone cortisol, you know it's affecting the status of your immune system just by doing that. Secondly, directly, negative thoughts have been shown to suppress immune health because there's a disbalance or imbalance of what's called the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight. And we see that so often in cancer patients that they're in sympathetic overdrive. That means that they're fight or flight, you know, they're on the go, their mind, their body, everything 24/7. But you need that parasympathetic part of the nervous system because that's where the healing happens. That's where the assimilation of nutrients happen. That's where the digestion happens. That's when we are able to sleep better and recover and restore our immune system. So those are two examples. And of course, emotions like fear and worry that are so prevalent in our daily lives, especially in someone that was just diagnosed with cancer, or we're told that they're terminal, that these are your only options, and so forth. These emotions are very toxic and set off that cascade of immune suppression via hormonal imbalance, via direct immune deficiency. So we have to turn those emotions of worry, fear, anger, and so forth into those of happiness, joy, and laughter. You know, how can someone laugh if they have cancer? Well, they can. Because remember, every day is a blessing. And we did not do anything to deserve this life that we have. So I know for me, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I say is, thank you, Lord, for this day, and make it your best, right? You have to make every day your best. And there have been proven clinical scientific studies that those people that laugh more during the day and consistently have a significantly better immune system than those that don't laugh. And I'd just like to say, as my 4-year-old said, well, he's 9 now, but when he was 4, he said, Dr. Wolfe, he said, Dad, laugh more than laugh. And I said, Isaac, what does that mean? He said, you know, Dad, people just don't laugh enough. And I thought, wow, what wisdom from a 4-year-old. So we need to turn this worry, this fear, especially fear, into laughter, into joy, into happiness. And by the way, that covers the first strategy to restoring immune health is stress management. And we could do this through yoga, through prayer, through meditations, maybe going more into our hobbies, the things we like, journaling. There are some nice nutritional, some homeopathics, maybe Bach flower remedies. There's some essential oils like bergamot that can help us get to those deeper layers of the onions where we have those emotional traumas because you know, cancer has been shown by Dr. Hammer, Hamer, in Germany. He's now deceased. Dr. Claude Sabat, also in France. Dr. Gilbert Renaud in Canada, in your neck of the woods, Dr. Wolfe in Vancouver, and other practitioners, including ourselves, where we deal and work a lot with freeing oneself of those deep emotional traumas. It's like the backpack, right, of all the stuff that we carry. And so, you know, this is an endless topic to discuss, but it's key in restoring immune health.
Thank you, Dr. Jimenez. And to answer the person's question about structured water, I'm going to try to make this as compact as possible. But just know this, that I've got Clayton Nolte, who actually is the inventor of the structured water unit, and he's on with me every second week on Clayton's Classroom. And if you go to Doc of Detox Show.com, you'll see all 5 different shows. I do 5 different shows with 5 different amazing people. And we try to cover an array of things so that we can create whole body healing. But I will be doing the show with Mr. Clayton Nolte, actually a week from this coming Tuesday. I don't have the exact date, but we just did one on Tuesday, so it'll be 2 weeks from there. So let's talk about structured water. And let me just try to say this, okay? If you take a look at the rain that comes down, we know it's got heavy metals, it's acid rain. Why are the crops doing so well? Why are the birds, the bees, the flowers, and the trees still doing well? Why is it that even though the chemicals are still in it, okay, there can be other heavy metals in it and there can be any virals in it? Why is it that things are still protected? Well, because everything is about frequency. Now, when we structure water, I'm going to show you something quickly, but that's a portable structure unit that you can put under the tap anywhere, or you could run actually anything through it, like alcohol to protect you, or you could run your coffee through it. You could run your juices through it. Even fresh vegetable juice, when you run it through here, you actually lower the surface tension more. What am I talking about? Well, the average water droplet, even if you filter your water with reverse osmosis, distilled water, a good filtering system, whether it's coconut or you use these expensive Kangen water units, they still don't structure the water. They say they do. Some of them say they do. They ionize the water. They will electron charge it, but they don't actually structure it. So what structuring does is it actually takes, in a water droplet, you can have 2,500 to 3,000 molecules in a water droplet. And if you do your homework, you'll see that I'm telling you the truth. If you structure water with this silly little thing here, and you can get a house unit, you can get a shower unit, you can get it for the pool, you can get it for your garden, we have it for commercial units. And the reality is that it brings it down. Guess what it brings it down to? 6 molecules. 2,500 to 3,000 to 6. Now, when it comes down, believe it or not, by bringing it down to 6 molecules, when it comes in, it has a certain frequency. You have what's called, in every cell, you have what we call an aquaporin channel. And when the water comes in, there's an actual frequency that comes off the water droplet. And because it's only down to 6 molecules, it actually unites with the aquaporin channel. And let's say the droplet was round like this. It actually opens it up to make it like this. So now you've got 6 molecules like a choo-choo train, and it goes directly in. Now, what would that do for bringing nutrition into your cells? Boom! What would it do for picking up toxins? Because it's a choo-choo train, all these empty containers, because why are they empty? Are you ready for this? You're 99% spirit energy. You know, you're made out of atomic particles. Those atomic particles, okay, are 99% empty. And that empty space is the spirit part of you. So everything revolves on frequency, energy, and photons. And that's what we are. We're light energy beings. So what happens is, now the nutrition gets in, the toxins come out. But because when we structure, we actually erase the memory. Look at, go ahead. Use your distiller, filter, reverse osmosis. Where in nature do you find reverse osmosis? You don't. Where do you find a distiller? You don't. But you find structured water with the rain. You find it with the waterfalls. You find it with fast-moving rivers. And that's structured water. And what it happens is, even if there's a toxin in the water, you're still protected because you change it. The frequency protects it. And people can't wrap their head around this. It's too simple and it's too amazing. And we don't believe in miracles anymore. And we won't believe in miracles until we believe that we are the miracle. So the reality is that what we do is we erase the frequency and we protect even if there's toxins in the water. Now, I'm not telling you not to filter. Go ahead and filter. But you can go ahead and filter, but why do you think that you're still dehydrated? Even if you drink 3 quarts of water or even a gallon a day and you still feel thirsty? Well, because you can't get an elephant through the needle. And guess what? If you've got cancer, you've got a chronic disease, and you're trying to hydrate, good luck with that. You don't have enough energy to digest the water because water's a food. So how many people, here's how you're going to know. You're going to know when you drink your water, you're going to feel bloated. How could you bloat from water? Because it's a food. You don't even have the proper energy to digest it. So why don't you do what nature does? Structure your water. So even this is a little shower head, but this shower head, guess what? It'll protect you from all the toxins in the water, the fluoride, the chlorine, and everything else. And it takes no filters. It's just works naturally by the process of nature. So that is structured water. And then people will say, well, I don't believe you. It's too simple. It's too easy. Then I'll tell you, I'll give you a 90-day money-back guarantee and go ahead and use it and then just return it. And the reality is that we'll give you a lifetime warranty on it. And when you jump into your shower and it feels like it's silk water touching your skin and your skin is not itchy, your eyes aren't burning, your hair's not dry anymore, then we'll talk about it. Okay? So understand what we've done is we've harnessed nature. And that's all we ever have to do is harness nature. And there's your answer about structured water. Thank you. Tony, would you like to get back to your strategies? Dr.
That was
Jimenez?
great on structured water. I actually was blessed to meet Hiro Emoto, the son of Dr. Emoto, in this last trip to Asia. And that was quite enlightening. Oftentimes, all we have to say is loving and having gratitude for the water we're drinking. And that can also go far with the units that you present in structuring water. So awesome. I need to get one of those.
And you know what?
Um,
You know what, Dr. Jimenez? I'm going to tell you something. We're frequency beings, and that's right. So that's why we have gratitude, right? Dr.
right.
Jimenez, you live with gratitude. You know, at one time in my life, and please don't get me wrong, I guess I was just a little bit uppity, right? Like I haven't been there. But, you know, I thought gratitude was something where I was humbling myself down, but I understand. I'm grateful for existing. I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for even the pain and the suffering that I've had because of the awakening it's given me. So understand that gratitude will change your food, change your water, and change your life.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Today I was talking to some of my executive team, and one of them said, you know, if we make a mistake as we're restructuring and improving this department in the clinic, I said, well, it's not really a mistake, it's a learning experience. And then I began to think about that more, and I said, wow, that was quite brilliant on my part, if I could say so myself, because, you know, we make the best decisions with what we know at the time. And so this is why a show like this is giving people so much more information and education so they can make the best decisions. And it's okay to goof up every once in a while. That's a learning experience, but don't do it twice or three times. Then that's on you, right?
Well, you know,
Uh,
when you do it twice, it hurts a little more. Three times, it hurts a little more. But you know, but the other thing is, what everybody needs to understand is guess what? Repetition is the key.
that's
Every
right.
day is a dress rehearsal. And guess what? Do not create guilt for yourself. Get yourself off the hook right away. Okay.
Yes, and that was the number one strategy to restoring immune health was the stress management, the emotional, mental aspect, and the second one is this was tough to come up with three, right? Because there's so many important strategies, but the second one that I picked is nutrition and gut health. And why is this important? Because you know, the father of medicines even said we are what we eat, and nutrition is key. The main things that we have to eliminate and be careful about in our nutrition, and I'm saying nutrition. Did you get that, Dr. Wolf? I haven't said diet because when someone says diet, it brings like, oh, I have to follow a particular diet. I don't want to diet. Maybe I'm not heavy enough to diet, but I'm talking about nutrition. And we have to differentiate between a supplement or a nutraceutical and a nutritional. Most, if not all, nutraceuticals or supplements are synthetic, whereas nutritionals are natural. They're from nature. They're the apple, they're the extract of the apple, not a man made mineral or amino acid in the lab, but getting that mineral or amino acid from food. So we need to avoid, especially for cancer patients, but for all of us, the first thing is processed or refined sugars. And I've been talking about this for a long time because most people say avoid sugar. but our body needs sugar. It's what kind of sugar do we need to avoid? And we have to always qualify this and say processed or refined sugar, because we know those are the sugars that the cancer cells can absorb. Those are the sugars that the cancer cells thrive from. And those are the sugars that if we have cancer cells in our body, that we all do, some say up to 100, 150 cancer cells are forming every day, and our immune system is taking care of them. If there's an excess or these processed refined sugars are happening, more of a chance that those cells are going to start to grow, mutate, and form a tumor somewhere. So that's number one. Number two, types of foods that we should avoid, in my opinion, in my experience, is gluten, because unfortunately, most people are now gluten sensitive. Soy, corn, because of the GMO. What is it, Dr. Wolfe? 80+% of soy and corn in the world is genetically modified, GMO. It's important to know that in Mexico, a few years ago, the government outlawed genetically modified corn, which was a huge step because, corn tortillas in Mexico are like synonymous, right? And the Mexican government outlawed GMO corn, so that was awesome. And the other note that I have here is, of course, dairy. Dairy is a foreign protein, and it could bring immune challenges to our body. And if we're going to have meat, we should have small portions of lean meat every once in a while, occasionally. I always say it's what we do most of the time that counts, not what we do some of the time. But we need to look at our individual situation and act accordingly. I don't know if I said this on the air with you before, Dr. Wolfe, but I was a vegetarian for many years, about 15 plus years. And then as I got younger, my body needed a little bit more of different types of proteins. So I introduced fish into my nutrition regimen. And of course, no bottom dwellers, no crustaceans, just other type of fresh fish like salmon and so forth. So I was in Tennessee, in Nashville. They invite me to a steakhouse. I go to have dinner there with some good friends, some mutual friends of ours, by the way. And, I said, well, once in Nashville, do like the people in Nashville. So I ordered maybe the mistake was that I ordered an 8-ounce piece of a steak. And shortly after finish eating it, I started to shake. It seemed like my body was vibrating. I was getting nauseous. I felt like vomiting, and I thought I was going to pass out. So I immediately thought of, why is this happening? And my conclusion was that these foreign animal proteins in a dead piece of meat, like a steak, my immune system recognized them as foreign. So it mounted an immune response. That's called an antibody antigen complex, right? The antigens are proteins from the meat, and my antibodies, which are like soldiers of our immune system. And so that's what happened. My body didn't like that, and it had a response. And so this is what can happen if we uptake foreign proteins from dairy, from meats. And if you have cancer or are in remission from cancer, I would urge, uh, from my experience, really try to avoid meats. Go more to a plant-based diet, more of a diet of nature, diet of nutrition from the garden, as we say. So that's key there. I could go on and give examples of other foods that are so powerful in restoring immune health, and maybe I will, unless you have something to comment at this time, Dr. Wolfe.
No, I think you're doing a really great job and I'm enjoying it. So carry on, okay?
All right, I'll put my glasses so I can see some of my notes here, because probiotics, and one of the things that we learned and have learned throughout the years with some of my mentors, master herbalists, and so forth, is that who are brilliant, oftentimes we're taking wrong probiotics. We want probiotics that have hundreds of thousands or hundreds of millions of, species or quantities. What we want are probiotics that resist enzymatic digestion and probiotics that can even resist antibiotics. Not that I'm promoting antibiotics, but if we have these types of probiotics, we know that they're going to get where? They're going to get to the small intestine, bypassing the stomach acid and the digestive enzymes, and go to that area that's so rich in immune cells called the Peyer's patches. MALT, G, gut associated lymphoid tissue, the GALT, all in this area of the small intestine. It's said that up to 70-75% of our immune system is in that first part of the immune system called the duodenum. And so,
Dr. Jimenez, we have a
yeah,
caller. But
okay,
hold the
excellent.
thought. We have a caller.
Hi, Dr. Jimenez.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, I just have a quick question for you. I just wanted to touch upon what you were talking about in relation to meat diets or red meat diets. I've been seeing a lot lately that there's a trend that people are going over to a meat-only diet, and a lot of people they're getting their meat by harvesting it from the wild, so they're obviously hunting it. And it seems that the people that are going to meat-only diets that are having certain problems with carbohydrates and other type of refined carbohydrates, it seems to be fixing those problems. So I just wanted to know if you could comment on eating wild game meat.
Well, that's a good question. And, talking about wild, I would say if you want to be as strong as a bull, eat what the bull eats, don't eat the bull. And the bull is not eating other bulls or other, game, it's eating grass. So, once again, if you want to be as strong as a bull, eat what the bull eats. Secondly, if you put a seed, you plant a seed, it's going to grow into a beautiful tree, flowers, and fruit. It has vital force, it has life, it has chi, it has energy, it has frequency, it has oscillations, it has vibration. Let's plant or put this dead carcass from wild, healthy, apparently healthy meat somewhere. Do we have any growth of anything? No. It ferments, it decomposes, and it's food for the maggots and other things. So, my humble opinion is that, as Dr. Wolfe said initially, we have to go back to nature and we have to go to eating foods that are live and energetic and have light, have energy. And I understand what you said, caller, and I know that even in the ketogenic diet now, that's quite a hot topic. I'm still not convinced that this is the way to go. And my book is coming out in November of this year, 2018, and I have a chapter dedicated to this. But I call it eating and going back to the garden. This is what we were meant to eat from and get our nutrients from. So, but if someone, as you said, is trying to uh, remediate or fix some dietary or health situations, and they think this is a benefit for them, maybe it could be on a temporary basis. But I would challenge that person to really find out what's at the core, because I don't think that eating the game meats, and believe me, I've eaten a lot of them in Africa. I've even had giraffe and zebra and all kinds of different meats, but that's not the way to go generally. It can be that someone needs that on a temporary basis, but still, I think that's doubtful. I hope I've answered your question, and it's a big topic of controversy because the more we read, the more confused we get. Ultimately, we have to follow and listen to our body. But please consider, you know, what types of carbs you're eating and what's going on. Are there allergies going on? Are there food sensitivities and why? Probably following some of these guidelines are restoring and help you, and you go back to a more healthy live food nutrition program.
Dr. Menace, remember the Atkins diet and how everybody was on that? And that was back 35 years ago. And then that fell off a cliff. This is almost a recycled Atkins diet. And you know what? I believe that it does have temporary benefit, but I think that I think just like an animal, it's going to bite everybody in the butt if they do it too long.
I agree. And I don't remember from experience the Atkins diet. I was too young, but I do remember reading about
Well,
it.
what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say here right now? What the heck is going on here? Oh my gosh, we
Because,
got another caller. We got another caller. I'm finished with you.
okay, I've got another caller.
Okay, thank you, caller. We have another caller. Caller, are you on?
Yeah, I am.
Hi.
Hi there. How are you?
Good.
Good. I've got a question for Dr. Tony, and I would like to know, this will be a quick one. I'd like to know what he would recommend for someone my age, which is 70 years old, that just got a bone density test back, and which it was my idea to get, not my doctor's, but anyway, I got it back, and it wasn't good. And what would Dr. Tony recommend for this?
Well, thank you for that question. You're 70 years young and quite a life ahead of you. So thank you for that question. Uh, there is a there are different types of bone cells, and not to complicate this too much, but the bone regenerating cells are called osteoblasts. The bones that are degenerating are called osteoclasts. And so, what this really thrives on is ionic calcium. Calcium's in a very ionic form, not in a complex form. So, the first thing I want to tell you is do not take the drugs that are recommended by the doctors because they decalcify the bones even more at long term. You know, drugs like Fosamax and all these synthetic agents, they can help temporarily, but ultimately they decalcify the bone and lead to osteopenia, a very severe form of osteoporosis. And so please, stay away from that. Secondly, is that again, the nutrition is key. And follow, please, some of the guidelines that I've mentioned already and that we'll mention more a little bit forward. And thirdly, is that from your country in Canada, you sound like a Canadian, eh? I believe. And so in your
Yes, I
country,
am.
yes, there was a wonderful scientist who developed what he calls, he's in the east coast of Canada, Ontario, and he developed something called sigma antibonding calcium. Sigma
Got
antibonding calcium. It's also called
stigma.
Maragen. Maragen is the trade name, Maragen. So what he
Hmm.
was able to do is that typically when we take a calcium supplement, it's like a rock. It's not absorbed. It's not going into the bones or into the cells. So really, it's nothing. There's no real benefit because
I
those
understand
calcium.
that, and I don't take any of those supplements anymore, but I did run across Algae Cal Plus, which is
Okay.
for
Okay.
bone strength that they're advertising. And I just wondered if you've heard of that.
Yes, I have, and I've heard of different things, but this Marogen compound is what I consider is now the top of the line, the latest thing that's come out with clinical results, with scientific evidence, with a lot of support, and by the way, a lot of testimonials with patients. And they started using it for osteoporosis and osteopenia. Now we're even giving it to bone cancer patients. And if you could help a bone cancer patient like with multiple myeloma, that's a cancer that eats up the bone. And it's like punch hole lesions in the bone. You could definitely get some help. So Um, Marrogen is the product. The calcium is in this particular complex called sigma antibonding, and these ions release very quickly in the small intestine and penetrate the bone very easily. So, what I can do, if you have a pen and paper, I could give you someone's number. He's the CEO. Is this okay, Dr. Wolf?
Oh, it's absolutely great.
Okay, so his name is J Lee,
JAE.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Lee, L E, that's his full name, Jay Lee. He's the CEO of this company, and his number, which is a number in New York City, is 646 431 1336. 646 431 1336.
431.
Yes,
1336.
431.
Okay.
431-1336, area code 646. And Jay will be able to send you information, answer any further questions that you might have. But what I consider this is to be the top line product now for osteoporosis. And I'm giving it to all
Okay.
my bone cancer patients.
Dr. Tony, this LJ Cal, you recommend that though, do you? It comes along with Strotinum Boost.
Yes. I think it's a good product. I don't have that much clinical experience, but I think it's more getting these calcium ions into the bone matrix than getting the strontium. So, just pray about it. Go with your gut feeling, your intuition. Sometimes we, you know, theor- make too many theories and go too much scientific, but go with what you trust. Call Jay Lee and talk to him, and then make a decision and feel good about your decision. This is not a
Okay,
medical
great.
emergency, so you have time. Take it for 3 months, see how things are, redo a bone density test, and then you could, go on from there.
They don't give us bone density tests in Canada though, every 3 months, like maybe they do in the States. I would have to
Mm,
wait for about another, I don't know, year anyway.
mm. Well, do you have any symptoms, any disabilities due to the bone density
N-
being low, or you're okay?
no, I thought I was fine, but the
Mm,
bone density test came really bad. It came back really, really bad.
okay.
So I
Mm.
did send for these products in the States and just got them for three
Well,
months.
take
So
take them, change your nutrition, eat more vegetables and make some juices. Some of the juices that I recommend, and I'll read it to you, is apple,
okay,
carrot, and orange. That's one juice that it's so powerful in improving immune health. And when you improve immune health, you improve the structure of every tissue and organ in your body, including bone. Another good combination is kale, tomato, and celery, because you're getting a lot of the vitamin C, the antioxidants, the vitamin E and D. Make sure, by the way, caller, that your vitamin D level is as good as possible, because that also enhances bone restructuring. The
okay,
other two juices, beet, carrot, ginger, and turmeric. Very, very important. And then the third one is spinach, lettuce, and kale. Those are four of my favorites, so I jotted them down to make sure that I mention them today.
I do the kale every single morning and every single afternoon in my smoothie.
But the thing is, you need to switch and rotate your vegetables, because kale has some nutrients, spinach has others, celery has
Yeah.
others, carrots, and so forth. So I had a patient who said, I've been drinking the same smoothie for 2 years. I said, wait, you have to rotate this, because you need the nutrients from different food sources.
That's good to know. I thought if I had the kale, I was fine.
Well, yes, this is why rotation, and even, in natural medicine, we talk about pulsing. pulsing your nutrition or eating for the seasons, right? Even with
Right.
nutraceuticals or nutritionals, we need to pulse them. So I don't take anything for too long of a time. I take it for 3 to 6 months, then I rotate, and you're always rotating.
Hmm. Okay, is it best to put it in a smoothie, I guess, rather than to cook it
Well, yes,
or eat
the
it
less it's
and
cooked,
eat
the
it
better it
raw?
is and the more nutrient rich. But it's better in you than looking at it. So, any way that you could introduce it into your body, it's the best way.
Okay. Well, thank you, and I will give this Jay Lee a call. And did you say he's in New York?
He goes in between Ontario and New York. His office is in New York, but he's the CEO for the company out of Ontario.
And he specializes in.
Well, he represents this company, the researcher that came out with this product for osteoporosis and bone health. He's not a medical
Okay.
doctor.
Okay. Well, thank you so much,
Okay.
Dr. Tony.
Listen,
It's been lovely talking to you again.
surely blessings
And
to
I
you.
say blessings to you.
Let us know in future shows how you're doing.
Pardon?
Let us know in future shows how you are doing.
I will.
Okay, thank you.
I will. And thank you for the advice.
My pleasure.
All right. So, Tony, do you want to go over the last part of your strategies?
Yes, so strategy number three, remember the first one was the stress management and emotional mental management. The second one was nutrition and promoting gut health. And then the third one, I combined that into exercise and sleep. And why exercise? Because the more sedentary we are, the more sluggish our lymphatic system will be, the flow of our lymphatic vessels. And as we all know, the lymphatic system is very, very important in eliminating toxins, neutralizing toxins, and is a big part of our immune system. So we don't want to be sedentary because we want to have our immune system via the lymphatic flow much better. And no one's more of an expert than Dr. Wolfe on lymphatic flow and freeing that up. Secondly, we want to exercise because we want to increase oxygen. Cancer is a low oxygen type disease, and that's called hypoxia. So cancer cells thrive in low oxygen. We want to increase oxygen uptake by our cells, tissues, and organs. Three is as we age and the more sedentary we are, the human growth hormone decreases. And so, what exercise have been shown to do is keep our human growth hormone as optimal as possible as we are increasing in age. So, exercise bumps up the human growth hormone. And of course, there's many other reasons why we should exercise, even going back to the first strategy, which is mental emotional health. I mean, what better way to release a lot of our daily stress than exercising, right? And if you're watching, listening, and you have cancer, and you say, well, Dr. Tony, I can't move, I'm bedridden, or I'm very weak, or I just had chemo and I can't exercise. Well, there's ways to do it. One is to do passive exercises. This is someone, your husband, your spouse, your friends, helping you move the joints. Just move your joints, move your arms, your fingers, your legs, and maybe sometimes thinking about those exercises that we see on the airplane catalogs, right? Exercises that we do while even sitting down. Or you could be sitting down and putting a little mini trampoline or rebounder and just moving your legs up and down on that trampoline. If you're strong enough, have the trampoline with the handles and bounce, right? Bounce to get that blood flow going, that lymphatic flow. There's also those plates, vibrational plates that you stand on, or you could even sit on them, and they vibrate. That's also increasing your muscle tone, increasing lymphatic and blood circulation. Stationary bicycles, another good way. Um, Lifting light weights, for example, right? Lightweight exercise is good. And of course, swimming, that is less impact on your body. But of course, if you're going to be swimming as an exercise, make sure it's in a pool that's not full of chlorine, right? We need a pool that is clean with ozone or uh, light. What is it? What's that light called, Dr. Wolf? It's either ozone or the blue light that they use
Infrared.
yeah, the infrared and other types of light that they use to keep the swimming pools clean. Um, Much better
Ultraviolet.
than ultraviolet. That's what it is. Ultraviolet. Thank you. So that's what I would recommend with respect to exercise. And with sleep, sleep is one of the best ways to repair, regenerate, and restore our cells. And ideally, from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is when the sleep is so vitally important, because that's the maximum uh, time that the immune system recovers and our body heals and regenerates. So some tips to sleep better is turn off your Wi-Fi. You're not going to use it at night anyway, so turn it off. You don't get those disruptors. Make sure that your room is dark, and if you have some lights in your room, cover them up at night. And so we want a dark room. We could use some essential oils or some homeopathic remedies. I like bergamot oil, essential oil, or lavender. Very, very good to help bring you into a more parasympathetic, a nice calming down of the immune system. Don't get on your cell phone or electronics at least an hour before going to bed. If you want to read a paper book, or a magazine. Don't go on electronics. What else do I have here? Make a habit of going to bed earlier and then rising earlier as well. Just as Dr. Wolf said initially, let's go back to nature. The invention of the light bulb was wonderful, but it's also been a disruptor in our life. Wouldn't you say so? Make the room a little cooler. There's some studies that have shown that people sleep better in a cooler room. And the reason for that is because our body temperature actually goes down a degree or 2 degrees at night for healing and regeneration. So if we keep the room cooler, it's going to balance more with the body temperature and make it easier to sleep. And then lastly is, don't drink maybe an hour or two before you go to bed, water or tea or anything like that, because obviously you're going to wake up during the middle of the night to go to the restroom. So try to drink, an hour or two before your planned bedtime. And so these are some tips for sleeping better. I think that in summary covers the third strategy to restoring immune health, which is exercise and sleep. How about that, Dr. Wolf?
Well, that was a mouthful, and it was a whole body healing, I'd say. And we have a caller, so this will be our last caller for today. But just know this, callers, that Dr. Jimenez comes on every 2 weeks now. So make sure you keep a pad of paper or jot it into your phone, and make sure that you keep your questions so that you can call in. And let's take our last caller. Good day, caller.
Hello, this is Janet, and hi, Dr. Wolfe and Dr.
Hi, Janet.
Jimenez. I'm the one that broke my wrist just the other day, and I was listening in about the bone health. I don't think I have a bone health problem, but I do have a cancer question, and that is my mother, who's 96, keeps getting these squamous cell cancer sores on her legs, which have pretty poor circulation to start with. And what happens is the skin doctor goes in there, and then they scrape this thing off, and then she has a wound there that takes anywhere from 2 to 6 months to heal. So is there a natural way or a topical thing you could put on these squamous cell cancer things that she has?
Yes, thank you, thank you. A couple of things that come to mind. First, for the areas that were cut off already and they're taking a long time to heal, one of the things that I found to be very effective is from the company called ASEA, ASEA, and this gel is called Renew, RENU. And by the way, I scar bad just genetically. When I get a cut, I scar very bad, and I form keloid. And just about a week ago, you can't see it, but under my shirt here, I got a pretty nice cut. And I've been putting this Renew, and it's healing up very nicely. You can hardly see it anymore. So the Renew, RENU, from ASEA company. Unfortunately, ASEA is a multi-level marketing company, but the product is amazing. So that's something I would recommend. Other things can be try some essential oils, maybe frankincense can be a good oil to put on there. And for the areas where there is something growing, a squamous cell carcinoma or so, frankincense oil could be one option. The other one is a product that was actually developed in Australia that have shown a lot of clinical studies. There's even a textbook written on this, and it's called Curaderm, C-U-R-A, D as in David, E-R-M as in Mary, Curaderm. And this is very effective, even for aggressive types of skin cancers like melanoma, basal cell carcinoma. So this is this you could find very easily. You could go and Google it on the internet, and it's it's easy to find, Curaderm. So those are two of my best options. If you had ozone, there's other things. If you had access to ozone, specifically ozonated water, ozonated olive oil, for example, could help heal the wound. Of course, aloe vera. But one of the main things for your mom is to make sure she keeps hydrated and make sure that her veggies intake is good.
Okay.
Thank you,
All right.
doctor.
Can you spell the Curaderm again? Is it C-U-R-A-D-E-M?
D-E-R-M.
V-E-R-M. Okay.
Yeah.
V-E-R-M. Okay, got it. Okay, that sounds great.
And also,
Thank you.
Janet,
Yeah.
we have Renew at the clinic here. So if you want, you don't have to join the LMM. We can actually send the Renew out to you. We also have another product called Aloe Mystery that's really good. All right. And if she continues to have, Aloe Mystery.
Yeah.
And if she continues to have this problem, you'll want to call in and I can talk to you about it. It's called polarized lens, and it's attached to what's called a bioptron. I will be doing a show on it, and a polarized lens on a bioptron would heal those wounds so fast it would make your head spin. And the other thing is make sure that she's doing structured water. Do you have a structured water unit?
Yes, I do. And
does she live with you?
Structured water at her house.
Okay, well, just remember, if she
Yeah.
doesn't have a unit, leave her a gallon of water. Make sure it's in the fridge. And if she adds just 1 ounce of the structured water to every quart of water, it'll actually structure it. So that'll keep her going for a long time. And make sure that she's on the daily cleansing tea, because, her body's looking to create holes, because the holes she has is not eliminating the waste she's got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So check out the daily cleansing tea too.
Yeah. Okay.
I just want to say one thing. Light is absolutely powerful in these situations and in many, so that biopton is spectacular therapy.
Yeah, and you use a lot
Uh,
of light therapy at at your Hope for Cancer clinics, right?
Correct, Dr. Wolf. We use light therapy extensively in
Yeah,
many different types of modalities.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay. Um, okay. Do you have time for one more question,
yeah,
or I can call?
absolutely.
I
No,
can
no,
call.
Janet, it's fine, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Um, my sister in Montana did not listen to me last year when I said she didn't have to have her cancer removed from her bladder, and she didn't have to go through chemo because I knew about you, and I suggested that she learn something from what you had to say and what I had to say about that. So now she's without a bladder, and she's been through chemo. She goes to a checkup, and her EKG shows that she now has heart damage. They want to put her on a stress test and start her on heart meds. And I believe the chemo has damaged her normally healthy heart. Have you heard of that? It's, I think
Absolutely.
what's going on is
Definitely.
it's a reverse T wave somewhere
Yeah,
in her heart, and I don't know what that means.
yeah. Yeah, the reverse T wave is usually in the ventricles of the heart. And
Uh huh.
yeah, especially the platinum type chemotherapies, they're the ones that have heart damaging side effects. And
Uh huh.
unfortunately, this happened. And now um, I think we need to, how's the cancer doing?
Well, as far as she knows, she's cancer free.
Okay, okay. Well, let's get the heart
Uh
situation under control. And it's tough to say how that could happen. I don't know about you, Dr. Wolf, how you could help or someone in Canada. She's in Montana. We have a mutual friend, Dr. Wolfson. He's holistic cardiology, and he's in Arizona. He wrote a book called The Paleo Diet, and he's one of the first holistic cardiologists in the US. He's in Arizona. He does some initial phone consults, so uh, maybe you could find Dr. Wolfson's contact information, Janet. He's in Arizona.
Okay.
Wolfson, Wolf as in Frank, S as in Sam, O-N, like Wolf and then Son, Wolfson.
Okay. Okay. Got it. All
And he's a
right.
holistic cardiologist in
And
Arizona.
yeah, I do have a
He
sister that lives in Arizona,
okay.
um, and she is planning a trip down there sometime this fall. But maybe we can get a phone consult going
Right,
before that happens.
right. And then
Because
once that's,
I told her, I said from Dr. Wolf's information, I said your body can heal itself if you treat it properly.
right.
And the minute you get on heart meds, you are now tied into the pharmaceutical medical complex, which puts fear and poison in your body.
Yes. And there's
And
side
she's
effect after side effect. You give the heart meds and you have to give something else to mitigate
yes,
the side effects of the heart medication. It's non-ending, as you
hmm
know.
yeah. And I told her, I said, you don't need to get on a stress test. All they're going to do is stress you out and provide some information to them for them to justify putting you on heart meds. I said,
You're,
she went in there feeling fabulous. She looks great. She's got a lot of energy and she looks healthy and strong. And
mhm.
she says, now I leave there and I'm anxious and full of fear and I'm afraid what they're going to do to me next. And I just got out of the doctor system and now they're wanting to get me back in because they've damaged my heart with chemo.
Well, you're
Anyway,
very wise,
so
and I think after that situation's under control, the heart one, then consider
uh-huh.
her contacting us because we have a technology from Europe, the only one in this part
Yeah.
of the world that I know of, that can detect the cancer stem cells in real time. And if there's any,
Ah.
we can target them right away. And it takes about 45 minutes to do this assessment and treatment. So for those people that are in so-called remission, we can really
Uh-huh.
take a good look and see if there's any circulating tumor cells in the bloodstream that,
Uh-huh.
as I said earlier, are the ones that lead to recurrence or metastatic disease.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. That's very, very helpful. And yeah, it's nice to know that there's a holistic cardiologist that we can call. So, and thanks
All
for
right.
the info for my mom as well.
Okay.
Okay, you
Thank
guys
you for
have a great
calling,
day,
Jen.
and thanks for being available. I sure appreciate it.
Thank you, Janet. And
You're welcome.
thank you, Dr. Tony Jimenez.
You're welcome.
So,
Okay, bye-bye.
Tony, maybe you can tell everybody what you're up to and where they can go for more information on your website. Maybe give them the 800 number. Just give them some information so that they can move forward if they want to contact any of your people at the Hope for Cancer. Okay.
Okay, well, thank you for this time. I've always enjoyed, and I know that this is archived, so I'd like the listeners and the viewers to spread the word on this show and future ones, not only mine but others that Dr. Wolfe is having, because we're really covering a wide scope. Even I understand some advice for pet owners. Our mutual friend, Dr. Siegel, right? So please spread the word. For cancer, chronic disease, hope4cancer.com. Hope, the number 4cancer.com. And that's our website full of information. There's educational videos, all kinds of stuff there for you to access. And I'm trying to look for the 1-800 number. You kind of put me on the spot there, Dr. Wolf, but I will have it in a second.
I think it's
And
up
that,
on the screen. Jack put it up on the screen for you.
oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, we had a
He did.
call earlier that your dementia was bothering you.
Yes,
I'm
thank you.
just kidding.
What did you just say? No.
Anyways,
So,
we got it up on the screen, okay?
okay, perfect. So that's
Yeah.
our 800 number, and hope4cancer.com is a website. We're really excited because we're really living in the best time now for cancer treatment, cancer prevention, and also, like Janet's sister, those that are in remission. Let's not do that watchful waiting when you're just waiting and going back to your doctor every 3 or 6 months for another scan for him or her to say, oh, the cancer came back. We want to preempt all this. So contact us. If you're in remission, please. And we could do a circulating tumor cell count in real time, highly specific, highly effective. And if you have even one single cancer stem cell in your blood, we can detect it. And very importantly, we could treat it in real time. This technology and work comes from Europe, and it's one of a kind. And now, Hope for Cancer has been the first clinic in this part of the world to have access to this, and we're really excited. So, other than that, my book will be coming out, Dr. Wolfe, in November. I still don't have a formal title, but I'm just waiting to get that download from God to say this is it, and then I will tell you. But for now, just stay tuned. The book will be out in November of this year, 2018. And this coming weekend, I think both of us will be at the Cancer Prevention Convention in Dearborn, Michigan, of all places. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to present a case study, a patient which happens to be Stephanie's sister. Stephanie is the organizer and coordinator of the Cancer Prevention Convention, and her sister is one of our patients with a very, very rare breast cancer. It's only 1% of all breast cancers are this type of sarcoma, very, very rare. One of our main oncologists, he's only seen three in 20 years of treating more and seen more than thousands of breast cancers. He's only seen three. So Stephanie's sister is doing quite well, and I want to present this case this Sunday at the Cancer Prevention Convention. So if any of you are in that Detroit, Dearborn area or within driving distance or even flying distance, we'll love to see you there. And I look forward to seeing you there as well, Dr. Wolfe.
Well, I'll be there on screen. I actually won't be there in physical this year,
Oh, okay.
but I will be on screen.
Okay.
I'm actually going to be doing my lecture at it's 2:00. No, 2:30. 2:30 Pacific Standard Time. And what time is your lecture, Tony? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know, but it will be on Sunday.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
No, mine is at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. That's right. And I told them to make sure that your lecture was away from me so that I could look good. So, but I know, so it's probably going to be at the other end. I don't know. But if you want to get tickets or you know somebody in the Michigan area, please go to Theta Living on Facebook or thetaliving.com. All right?
Theta, right? H-E-T-A?
Yeah, THETA Living.
Yes.
And definitely on the Facebook, you can contact them. And her name is Stephanie Offman. She's a beautiful, wonderful human being, isn't she, Tony?
Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
she's beautiful. And that's about it. We'll be back here in 2 weeks. And do you know what the topic's going to be yet, Tony?
It'll be a surprise, but we'll post it on the website within the next 24 hours.
Okay, there you go. So it's just like Cracker Jacks. You got to wait until you get to the bottom of the box. Okay, all right. For everybody, I will have Braveheart Nation on Tuesday, August the 21st at 3 o'clock. So get your questions. And it will be on at 3 o'clock. And then on Pet Star will be on Wednesday, August the 22nd. So all you pet lovers, it'll be at 3 o'clock as well. And then we're doing a 6-day retreat in February at the Lido Resort in Palm Springs, California. You can go to itioh.com. That's where I have all my trainings and all my retreats there. So if you want to check that out, it's going to be called Braveheart Retreat. And it's going to be it's a beautiful resort. So you can just, it's a spa. So you know what we'll be doing. We'll be going in emotionally and going in with some tender loving care. All right. And then if you want to, you can go to Braveheart. You can go to Doc of Detox, braveheartlibrary.com. And for those people who you want to get introduced into health, you can have them go there. And there's some audios on emotion, and there's some booklets on inflammation and scar tissue. And we have one called The Perfect Day. So you can start building and working on your diet or working towards it. All right. And for those of you who want to get my book, the book is free, Healthy to 100 book. And also, if you want to get half a month, 2 weeks of our daily cleansing tea free, all you got to do is pay the shipping and we'll send it out to you, okay? And so here's the shows that are coming up. Starting in September, I'll be doing Doc Talk Q&A. That'll be more on the nutritional detox side. Braveheart Nation, Clayton's Classroom. That's all about water, guys, structured water. Energy medicine, we'll be looking at the new type of medicine. Like Einstein said, energy medicine would be the future. And if anybody knows that better than I do, it's Dr. Tony Jimenez, because they are the future of medicine. And understand, Hope4Cancer, everybody, you need to get this. They deal with everything, not just cancer. They deal with every type of illness. Listen, if you're the best at dealing with cancer, how are you with everything before you get there? All right? People don't just get cancer. They get everything else before they get there. They have autoimmune disease for years before they get there. So make sure you check his website out, all right? And all I want to say is I want to thank the people that called in with their questions and pass the word along and share this. I mean, look at, we have one of the top specialists in the world on cancer on this show. All right. So remember something, and I'm going to tell you, this is the God's truth. Nobody cares about cancer until a loved one has it. And then when a loved one has it, then the crap hits the fan and everybody's running around freaking out. And do your statistical research. that when somebody gets cancer in the family, you'll find 1 or 2 people will end up getting cancer within 2 to 5 years. All right? So just understand, conflict, trauma, when you don't know what to do, and you add that on like fuel on the fire with a poor diet and an unconscious way of living, will cause hell on earth. But for now, let's just smile, peek our shoulders back, and take a deep breath and know that we're here for you. Have the best day of your life, and God bless. And thank you to my esteemed host, Dr. Tony Jimenez, for taking the time to be here. God bless.
God bless. Thank you, Dr. Wolfe.